What scandal is currently happening in the world of your niche interest that the general public would probably have no idea about? Serious. A major African violet seller has been shipping out plants with INS, impatiens necrotic spot virus. There's no cure, you have to destroy the plant. It spreads through sap, so bugs or improper sanitation can spread it throughout a collection. This has a big impact for smaller sellers and people who show plants in competitions, as their collections can be worth huge amounts of money and effort. A lot of the drama revolves around the fact that the company is aware of this, and it's felt not enough is being done to find and dispose of infected plants in the greenhouses. The failure to control the production of meth by restricting pseudoephedrine has led to breakthroughs in creating it through using other precursor chemicals that are cheaper and available in much larger amounts. The substitute drug phenylephrine has no proven clinical effect on congestion save that provided by placebos due to how it is metabolized in humans outside a lab. As a result, LVE seen several knockdown online fights between pharmacists over how to handle the fact that they are basically being told to lie about a placebo to patients or support meth addiction. I speak to many pharmacists and haven't found one that believes that phenylephrine is useful outside of a strict set of circumstances. And they are pretty bloody annoyed that pseudoephedrine is still banned years after the illegal drug manufacturers moved to a precursor chemical available in literal vats from the beauty industry. Many phone companies are switching landline phones from copper analog to VoIP without telling their customers. So people with commercial fire alarms are now discovering that their fire alarms are not reporting to a dispatcher. Meaning if there is a fire, help is not on the way. This is also happening to life alerts and common burglary alarms. The phone company puts in fine print blaming the alarm companies, and the alarm companies put in fine print taking no responsibility for the alarm not working due to phone line changes. Many people think they are being kept safe with their alarm, but if they are not using cellular or direct IP, their systems are likely not working properly. I've subscribed to Birchbox for 8 or 9 years and they recently stopped shipping monthly boxes with no communication or warning whatsoever. Yet they have still kept taking customers' money. I realized only last night that I hadn't received a box in a while and never received a separate order I placed on October 11th. Did some research, and apparently Birchbox is going under. The majority of subscribers' posts on social media are like, "Why isn't customer service getting back to me? I haven't received my order and it's been a month." My Birchbox account showed my next order date of December 31st, 1969, which is a common default date in programming, so I'm told. So everything is wiped, there is no customer service anymore. No one is going to answer them. Subscribers and customers will collectively have to come to the slow realization that they are not getting their money back. Edit, December 31st, not 30th. The academic journal publisher Elsevier charges universities and people the same price for access. This means that if an article costs $60 to view, then the university has to pay $60 for each student who views it, which could number in the hundreds. That's a couple $1,000s for each individual article. My state has currently banned universities from subscribing to them for this exact reason. It's a statewide boycott. I think it's happening elsewhere too, because when I need to access one of their articles, I've found that dozens of people have already illegally uploaded it somewhere. It's not hard at all to find them. I actually agree with my state though, because they are gatekeeping knowledge for profit. In the school district I work in, we are supposed to be one-on-one student laptops. We have several students without laptops, because so many are outdated and or broken. On top of that, our internet has been terrible, making it impossible to use digital resources like our admin expects. They say it's not in the budget to fix these issues. However, our curriculum director, who makes 6 figures, has spent the majority of this school year pulling kids from class to make TikToks rather than doing the job he gets paid for. A real slap in the face to us lowly teachers, who don't even make half of his salary. Not really a scandal, but FedEx Ground is all contractor work. The contractors are having a tough time right now and asking FedEx for more money due to increased costs. FedEx raised its shipping rates in January. FedEx is happily renegotiating, but every contractor ends up losing more after negotiations. A few months back, they terminated the contract of the largest contractor in the US. FedEx will of course say, "We've successfully renegotiated many contracts in the past few months." But it depends on your definition of successfully. Did they reach an agreement? Yes. Were the terms of the new contract better than the old one? In most cases, no. There's a battle waging for your deliveries. It will come crashing down. Just a matter of when. BTW, UPS is on the verge of a strike. Organized medicine is falling apart. Hospitals are employing far less staff than is safe. They are boarding many patients in the ER because the hospitals are too full of inpatients. There are multiple national shortages of medications and medical equipment, and pay's going down for physicians, nurses, pharmacists, and techs at the same time of record profits for national insurance and hospital companies, i.e., HCA. We have been functioning in crisis mode since COVID, and things are only getting worse. Doctors and nurses are retiring or finding other employment more than at any other time. During this season of COVID, flu, and RSV, children's hospitals are an absolute war zone. There is no solution in sight either. The only factor keeping it all afloat is the resiliency and resourcefulness of docs and nurses doing everything in their power to help patients. It is extremely exhausting. Poker, this made some major news outlets, but there's been an accusation of cheating in a high-stakes live stream. There's a lot to this, so it's hard to summarize, but basically, an amateur player, who has had some high-level coaching, made a play against a big-name pro that resulting in her winning a big hand, but the play was so ridiculous that it was suspicious, and the pro has accused her of cheating. The amateur has said a few contradictory things in her defense, but no tangible evidence has yet been brought forward to prove she did actually cheat. Oh, and there was a guy working for the casino who stole 10% of what she won that night from her chips at the end and was caught on camera doing so, and he would have been in a position to facilitate her cheating if he'd wanted to. And another player in the game had put up the money for the amateur to play. Sounds pretty damning, but again, no proper evidence has come forward, and as it stands there's still an ongoing investigation that hasn't given us an answer either way. Ask different people about this and they'll say they're sure either way. But the truth is we don't know yet, and we may never know. Wizards of the Coast announced a product so horrible Bank of America lowered their stock evaluation of Hasbro, citing various issues and the implications of the product, wailing that undermines the collectability of the game, while also accidentally advocating and sanctioned proxies. Basically, they upset every single type of player and rang the first real death knell of the game. Then they seem to have doubled down on it. Hasbro also revealed that WotC was effectively the only profitable aspect of the company, and they were going to make 3x more than their already third straight year of record profits. All of this culminated in everyone from the kids who buy a pack once in a while to the stockbrokers on Wall Street realizing how horribly mismanaged Hasbro currently is. Their stock tanked like 30% as a result, and blood is in the water. In the Valorant Game Changers Championship, women's tournament for the first-person shooter game, the coach of one of the teams, Shopify Rebellion, flipped off the other team, Cloud9 White, after a hard-fought win on the stage to send his team to the grand finals. The two teams are rivals, and C9W was shit-talking SR constantly all year. Instead of following their rules and giving the guy a warning or a fine, Riot, the maker of the game, decided to suspend the coach for the grand final match, which SR ended up losing 3-2 after they basically went on tilt during the third game. This is basically exactly what a coach is for in Valorant, calming teams down and refocusing them when things go bad. Basically every pro Valorant player criticized the company's tweet announcing the decision. Then after the game, one of the C9W players posted this tweet with the SR coach who flipped them off. I live in Mexico. In Yucatan, a state, a woman had her children taken away from her. Julissa is a lesbian mask-presenting single mom to a 6-year-old boy and a 10-mo girl. She works as a domestic cleaner and in construction to make ends meet. She took her baby to the hospital for a fever, where a social services woman told her that CPS, the Mexican equivalent, was taking away her baby because she was a bad role model to her. No further explanation. Julissa collected letters from her work saying she was a great worker, from her neighbors stating she had never neglected her children in any way, a letter from the state saying she had no past criminal records, and even a letter from her baby's daycare stating that the baby was always cared for at home. When she went to CPS to deliver this evidence, she was not only denied her daughter back, but taken his boy away as well. The most immediate concern here is that there has not been any legal notification or argument for taking them away, and they were sent to a shelter that has previous accusations of child trafficking and sexual abuse, and she has not heard nor given any information on the well-being of her children since CPS took them away. This is a huge violation of the Mexican Constitution that since 2018 recognizes monoparental families as legal, no matter what the parent identifies or presents as. It's also a huge human rights violation, but the state is not doing anything about it to help her or ensure the kids' well-being. We've been trying non-stop to make this noticed, even viral if we, mostly feminist groups and LGBT+ groups, to put some pressure onto the state, and people over there are already organizing a protest. I just want as much people I can to know what is happening with Julissa. After decades of over-quality leading to just too few fatalities to justify the cost. Management in the aviation industry is on the hunt for over-quality. All over the industry, wherever professionals are found to be too stringent on quality, their jobs are outsourced to firms friendlier, more relaxed with regards to quality. Eventually this scourge of high costs and over-quality will be corrected to enough quality. One great place for engine overhauls these days is Ethiopia. With booming population and more accuracy margins in their measurement tools, they are able to accept and stamp parts that their Western counterparts send to the trash without even measuring. In the second biggest pro wrestling company in the world, the guy who had just won the world title went to a press conference and bitched about how childish and stupid he though some of his co-workers were for real, not in a scripted way, while sitting right next to the owner and president of the company. After the press conference, 3 of the co-workers approached him, with the head lawyer of the company. The world champion sucker punched one of them, a fight broke out and his friend, who has a backstage job, threw a chair and bit somebody. The backstage guy got fired. The 3 that approached him were suspended while it was investigated. The guy who started everything is injured and wouldn't be able to wrestle anyway, but we aren't sure if he will be fired or suspended until his contract is up. And that man's name is CM Punk. And now you know the rest of the story. My plane lost an engine over the Atlantic and the airline has done nothing to support us once we made an emergency landing. There was a mayday call from the plane and we were forced to divert to Halifax instead of JFK. Once we landed it was chaos. Iberia Airlines has refused to even speak to us about how to get home or get reimbursed. I have been directed to the website for a complaint and received a couple unorganized and inconsistent emails about rebooking that have been cancelled abruptly. They left 200+ people on frozen curb in Canada. There is a flight recording of the pilot calling for Mayday. We had to dump fuel before landing. Panic attacks and drinking in plane before landing. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this one.